Today, we're making the ultimate in springtime desserts, a raspberry rhubarb galette. It's easy, impressive, and delicious. And I got a secret for you. It's gonna be in the oven in 15 minutes or less. Hey there, welcome back to my kitchen. I'm really happy to have you here. I am stoked about today's recipe. We're making a rhubarb raspberry galette, and we're doing it with phyllo. It's gonna take about 15 minutes from the time we start to the time we get it in the oven. My neighbors, once again, have come through with their garden, and they've given me a whole bunch of rhubarb. First things first, let's get the rest of this rhubarb cut up. My goal here is just to cut it into bite-sized pieces. Rhubarb was one of my dad's favorite desserts. Every summer when I was a little girl, he would request a rhubarb pie, and I was very happy to oblige him. The difference between that dessert and what I'm making today is that we get to take the cheat of using some phyllo dough, so we don't have to make any pastry at all. I have about 2.5 to 3 cups of rhubarb. To that, I'm going to add about a cup of frozen raspberries, juice of half of a lemon, a teaspoon of salt, 2/3 of a cup of sugar. You can add less sugar or more sugar if you like. Give that a stir. And now I'm gonna sprinkle over about 2 tablespoons of cornstarch. The purpose of the cornstarch is to bind everything together. These are some juicy fruits, and we don't want that juice to run into our pastry to make it soggy. And finally, a couple tablespoons of the butter sugar mixture that we made earlier. In a saucepan, melt the butter over a low heat and add in brown sugar. Mix it and heat it until the sugar has dissolved a little bit, but if it doesn't dissolve all the way, that's no problem. And a final mix. A little taste test to make sure we've got the sugar right. It tastes like spring. This is perfect. Off to the side it goes. Today we are working with phyllo dough. Phyllo is thin sheets of pastry that you laminate together with butter in between that make a delicious, flaky, very good stand-in pastry for the bottom of a galette. To work with the phyllo dough, simply unwrap it, lay it out on your bench, and prep the surface on which you're going to cook it. For me, on this cookie sheet, one running lengthwise and one running widthwise, overlapping the sides slightly. The reason for that is we're going to gather up our galette at the end. And so while we're making it, some of the phyllo dough will be too long for the width of your cookie sheet. So this is just to cover us in case there's any stickage. And we are ready to go. Butter and brown sugar, prepared baking dish, and our phyllo dough. Let's start stacking. Drizzle a tiny little butter on your baking dish. The reason for that is so that your first sheet of phyllo dough sticks. I'm gonna start laying the phyllo dough out widthwise. Next, drizzle some of your butter sugar mixture. And take your second piece of phyllo and lay it over lengthwise. Drizzle. Just to make sure I'm getting everything well covered in the butter sugar mixture, I'm going to whip out my pastry brush and give these last few sheets a brush instead of a drizzle. And finally, our last piece. Spoon the filling into the center. Now working quickly, fold up each side of the phyllo dough halfway over the rhubarb mixture, ensuring that you leave some rhubarb poking out of the top. Remaining butter, brush the layers, a little bit of flaky sea salt if you dare, and now we bake into a preheated 350-degree oven for about 30 minutes. Drive by. I promised you a dish that was easy and impressive. We got it into the oven in less than 15 minutes, so it was definitely easy. But sadly, these dogs seem less than impressed. Are you pretty impressed, sir? And after 35 minutes, we're done. We've had a slight explosion, which is no big deal. Gonna take it out and let it cool. This is an absolute stunner. I cannot wait to take a bite. I took more than a bite. That was an absolutely delicious dessert. Thank you so much for being here with me today. If you make this, please let me know in the comments below. Give this video a like if you liked it, and please subscribe to my channel if you'd like to see more. Can't wait to see you next time. Cheers.